John is in Columbus, Ohio. Hey, John, welcome to the show. How can we help?
Hey, Dave. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Yeah. So, you and I have a bit of a similar story. I started a wealth management firm 21 years ago out of a spare bedroom in my home. Closed my first deal with a client at a card table.
Wow.
And zero assets under management, zero clients, but we had a phone, a computer, and a dream and a desire in our heart to help individuals make wise decisions with their money.
Good for you.
21 years. Yeah. 21 years later, we're managing wealth for about 330 clients, 320 million in assets under management, top line revenue over 3 million, 13 team members, and as a business owner and a small business owner, CEO, my income is growing right alongside the business, which is a really good thing.
Good for you. Well done. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. And I followed you long enough. I appreciate your message and your platform, and I've heard you talk about the tithe.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a person of faith, and I give tithe. I tithe on my gross income.
Mm-hmm.
I go to a small church, and as my income grows, my tithe is becoming a large percentage of my local church's budget. So I'm wondering, is there a certain point where my tithe or a donor is taking too much percent of the overall church budget? My concern is if I were to leave or become a snowbird and head down to Florida, or if I were to die, it would severely disrupt church operations and maybe even cause people to lose their job.
Yeah.
And I care about these people. So,
well, it's unhealthy for the church to be single donor dependent like that. And so you're concerned about that lack of health, and what do you do about it? Okay, so the tension is that evangelical Christians, you and I, Orthodox Jews, believe in giving 1/10 of our income to our local church. It's a representation of the Old Testament storehouse, and so. Where the widows, the orphans are taken care of through the church, and the Levites, the priests, are fed. So the pastors are covered, and the church is doing good social works with widows, orphans, and so forth in the community. And the tithe is to fund all of that, and that's the principle by which we're doing it. So the tension is, if you don't give it to your local church, are you stepping outside of what tradition has taught us on that? Yeah, you would be, but I think I would in your case. I would step outside of that, and I would find probably some other local churches that you believe in the work that they're doing and how they're doing it, but you just don't attend there, and distribute your tithe across those. I would not switch it and put it into the family foundation. I have a family foundation, and I wouldn't do that. But I'm not going to allow our tithe, Sharon's and mine, to disrupt our church either. I'll just pare it back and send it to some of the other churches in the area that I know and that are good people and so forth. I'll still be a substantial giver, but I don't want a church dependent on a single giver. And if I was a pastor, I'd be concerned about that. I'd be concerned if our thing was being built on one guy's deal. That would just scare me.
What percent do you and Sharon typically look at? You're like 10% of the
No, I think you just got to look at it and go, what have I got to move to keep from being a problem? Because right now I'm a problem. And I wouldn't do it instantaneously, but I certainly wouldn't. If your income goes up next year, I wouldn't give any increases in income. You got to start offloading it at some point. But I wouldn't go in there and just chop substantially what you've been doing, because you do harm to them right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're already dependent on you right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So you had mentioned you would put it maybe to other local churches. What about just the nonprofits that have a ministry focus?
Well, you can do anything is okay. There's nothing. I'm not legalistic about this. I personally would say, okay, the tithe goes to your local church is a standard. I mean, that's not a Dave Ramsey teaching. That's an evangelical teaching that's been taught by lots and lots of people. There are people that agree with that, disagree with that, whatever. I don't care. But I personally would stick with the local church, because I believe that even if it happens to be not the church I'm attending, I'm not going to give all of it to the church I attend, but a local church anyway that's doing God's work, and that the people are, the books are open. We can look at them. The staff is not overpaid. They're not underpaid. Like I'm assessing any other charity that I'm going to give to, I'm going to make sure that other church is, since I don't go there and I don't have a feel for it, I'm going to make sure that they're, operationally good and solid, and that I'm not going to disturb them with this either. But, so I'm not going to increase at yours if I'm you, and I'm going to stay with the local church category. But again, the whole point here is not that you are the savior somehow with your income and your tithe. The point is that you need to be giving for you, because you exercise that giving muscle. It's a part of managing wealth well. And so generosity has to be a part of your DNA, of your makeup, if you're going to manage wealth well. And so that's the big thing. That's why God has us to tithe, not because the church needs our money or God needs our money. He has tithing because it's good for us to be generous people. It changes our character when we do that. And the rhythm of our life every week, every other week, whenever we get paid, to be giving is just, it's an amazing part of the normal rhythm of your checkbook, and so that's what you want to have, and you can do whatever you want to do within those guidelines for it. But again, I'm old school, and I fall in that camp where the storehouse is the New Testament storehouse, or the New Testament church is the representation of the Old Testament storehouse, and so I give to my local church until I'm a problem, and then I would give to a different local church or churches, and that would mean in the area where you live, in other words. But if you want to change that and do it, I don't think it's not a salvation issue. God's not going to go, oh, we can't bless John because he gave to this other wonderful thing instead of to that church. And I don't think that's how it works. But you do whatever you want. I'm just going to stick with the principle on that. And then my other giving over and above the tithe, I can do anywhere I want to go with that. I can give that. That doesn't even have to be to ministry. I can give that to we give some to the University of Tennessee where we graduate from. It's obviously not a ministry. And so we, help some college students over there have scholarships and things like that. So but that's all completely separate from the tithe discussion. That's an additional giving over and above that. So, hey, great question, great heart, and congratulations on all your success. I'm so excited for you, John. It's awesome.